Dear students, today we'll be discussing the poem When I Was Growing Up by Nellie Wong. We have already seen the introduction, and before going to the poem in detail, let me remind you one thing. This is an autobiographical poem, and we should know the history that her parents were Chinese immigrants, and for her, she was born and brought up in America. And she was always longed for that American culture. The identity crisis is the main theme of the poem, and she is struggling to find her identity. And see, she does not have any connection with the Chinese culture where her root belongs. And in the poem, towards the last, she realizes that it's not possible to acquire the American culture because the white people, they were not ready to accept others. So keeping this in mind, we'll go to the poem in detail. See, a poem can be read in different ways. You are expected to make your own reading. Let me move on to the first stanza. So in one part, I have arranged the poem stanza wise, and in the next part, I have tried to include the notes which will be beneficial for you. So the first stanza is like, I know now that once I longed to be white. How, you ask? Let me tell you the ways. The poet Nellie Wong begins the poem by admitting the fact that once, when she was growing up, she longed to be white. And in the poem, she is talking about the different ways in which she felt so. See, the poet is going down the memory line and recollecting her past experience. And see, the problem with longing is that the problem with the desire. So, what is the problem with how desire is created? Definitely, desire is a creation. And in an individual, desire is being created by the system or by the society or by the different socio-cultural discourses. The white patriarchal racist society creates in her the desire to become white. So there are different discourses which creates things in you, helps you in creating different sorts of ideas and law. The desire to become white is as well a sort of a creation. നമുക്കറിയാം നമ്മുടെ desires, it's always connected with the society or with other people. ശരിക്കും മറ്റുള്ളവരെ കാണുമ്പം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സൊസൈറ്റിയിലെ പല കാര്യങ്ങളും കാണുമ്പോഴാണ് നമുക്ക് എന്തുണ്ടാവുക, ഡിസയേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടാവുക, സ്ട്രോങ് വിഷസ് ഉണ്ടാവുക. So in the poem, she is going to discuss the different ways in which this sort of a desire is created in her, and her strong desire was to be white in color, fair in color. And she is giving different reasons one by one. She is pointing out the reasons. See, this particular desire was created in her by the society. So that is about the first stanza. She is going down the memory lane and recollecting her past experiences. And she begins the poem by admitting that once she longed to become a white person and discusses the different ways which compelled her to wish so. Let me move on to the second stanza. When I was growing up, people told me I was dark, and I believed my own darkness in the mirror, in my soul, my own narrow vision. See, she is revealing the first reason why she desired to become a white person. The first reason for her desire to become a white person is because of the society she is exposed of or the people around her. So the society will decide whether you are white, whether you are dark, whether you are ugly or beautiful. So it is the gaze of the people. Hope you know the meaning of gaze. തുറിച്ചു നോക്കലാണ്. And see, when people gaze at you, you start gazing back at you. Not with your eyes or with your lens, but with people's eyes or people's lens. It is through people's lens you will start gazing at you. You will start analyzing you. If people say you are dark, you begin to believe your own darkness. And in front of the mirror, you feel that you are dark. So this is not your viewpoint, but it is the society's or the people around you. So the first reason why she wants to become a white person was created in her because of the society, because of the people around her. So moving to the next stanza. When I was growing up, my sisters with fair skin got praised for their beauty, and I fell further, crushed between high walls. And here she brings the second reason why she wanted to become a white person. So the second reason was the comparison she faced, maybe in the family or from the society. Definitely, നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന കാര്യമാണ് compare with others, with siblings or with the relatives. So this is the viewpoint of a small girl. That is why she is thinking in these ways. And she felt that her sisters with fair skin got praises. They got appraisals from others. So that is the second reason why she wants to be fair. And she felt that if she is fair, she too may get praised. So here we can see the binary concept, the black and the white. The white people or the people with fair skin, they got more preferences everywhere. So what Nellie Wong is doing here is actually she is trying to blur the binary, but later what happens is we understand from the coming stanzas that though we try to blur the binary, though she is very much aware of the binary that she was caught in, the beauty consciousness, she is very much caught in all these things. but indirectly she is also indoctrinated psychologically into this binary, and unknowingly she herself reinforces in the coming stanzas the beauty consciousness in her, the concept of beauty for all. സോ ബ്യൂട്ടിയുടെ ഒരു ഫസ്റ്റ് കണ്ടീഷൻ, ഒരു ക്രൈറ്റീരിയ ആണ്. ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് തിങ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് കമ്പണൻറ്റ് ഓഫ് ദി കൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ബ്യൂട്ടി ഈസ് ഫെയർ സ്കിൻ. Actually, she was trying to go away from all these things. She was trying to blur this black, white, everything. At the same time, she is immersed in it as a girl. So the third stanza, I'll read the notes. The second reason is that as a child, she came to know that her sisters with fair skin got all the praises for their beauty. And we can see the binary of white and black is reinforced. So, to the next stanza, stanza 4. When I was growing up, I read magazines and I saw movies, blonde movie stars, white skin, sensuous lips, and to be elevated to become a woman, a desirable woman, I began to wear imaginary pale skin. So, she wants to become a desirable woman. And she got the concept of, she got the image of this desirable woman from the magazines, from the movies. So the ladies or the women with white skin, the first thing, sensuous lips, beautiful lips. So these are the general things that is expected for a desirable woman. നമുക്കറിയാം നമ്മുടെ ബ്യൂട്ടിയുടെ കൺസെപ്റ്റ് എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഇസ് ക്രിയേറ്റഡ് ബൈ ദ മീഡിയ. ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ബി മാഗസിൻസ്, ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ബി മൂവീസ്, ആൻഡ് ദീസ് ഡേയ്സ് social media, everything. So actually she was caught in that. The next reason why desired to become a white lady, she found that all the media around her celebrates beauty or whiteness, and media decides the qualities of a desirable woman, where fair skin takes the first position. You should just remember the term desirable woman. Desirable qualities ഒക്കെ we are familiar. പാട്രിയാർക്കൽ സൊസൈറ്റിയാണ് ആക്ച്വലി ആ ഒരു ടേം തന്നെ കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. വാട്ട് ഈസ് എക്സ്പെക്റ്റഡ് ഫ്രം എ വുമൺ ഇൻ ഹെർ അപ്പിയറൻസ്, ഇൻ ഹെർ ഡീഡ്സ്. ഒരു വുമൺ അപ്പിയറൻസിൽ എങ്ങനെയാവണം, പ്രവൃത്തിയിൽ എങ്ങനെയാവണം, ഹൗ ഷീ ഷുഡ് ബിഹേവ്. ഓക്കെ, ഇതെല്ലാം ആര് ഡിസൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്? ദ സൊസൈറ്റി. So what she should do, what she should not do, all the things the society will decide. So what happens for Nellie Wong is that she began to shed her own Chinese identity, her own Asian American identity. When she started reading these magazines and going for movies, she turned against her own identity, her own Chinese identity, her own Asian American identity. Actually, she wanted to shed her skin off and wanted to assimilate herself into an American skin. Her strong desire to become a white person. So, a desirable woman is a creation of the patriarchal society, especially white patriarchal society. and it is patriarchy who is creating what is desirable and who is desirable. Patriarchy, male dominated society and patriarchal society. So that is about stanza 4. She started to wear an imaginary pale skin. Then to the next stanza, stanza 5. When I was growing up, I was proud of my English, my grammar, my spelling, fitting into the group of smart children, smart Chinese children, fitting in, belonging, getting in line. Though she was not confident in her appearance, in her color, she was too confident in her English, her grammar, her spelling. അവളുടെ അപ്പിയറൻസിലെ ലിമിറ്റേഷൻസ് അവൾ മറികടക്കാനായിട്ട് ശ്രമിക്കുന്നത് in her language. See, she was born and brought up in America, though her parents were Chinese immigrants. So she had the grip over the language. She was proud of her intellectual ability. And she was struggling or practicing all means to fit into the white culture. അവളുടെ അപ്പിയറൻസിൽ നഷ്ടമാകുന്നത് എവിടെ മേക്കപ്പ് ചെയ്യണമെന്നാണ് അവൾ വിചാരിക്കുന്നത് in her language. So she tried to acquire the English, the American accent. അങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും എന്താവാൻ സാധിക്കുക, അമേരിക്കൻ കൾച്ചറിൽ ഇമ്മേഴ്സ്ഡ് ആവുക, ഒരു അമേരിക്കൻ ഐഡൻറ്റിറ്റിയിലേക്ക് എത്തിപ്പെടുക. അതാണ് അവളുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ആവശ്യം. ഓക്കെ, let us move on to the next stanza, that is stanza 6. So when I was growing up and went to high school, I discovered the rich white girls, a few yellow girls, their imported cotton dresses, their Kashmiri sweaters, their curly hair, and I thought that I too should have what these lucky girls had. Actually, she had joined in a mixed school. Mixed school means a school where both white girls and yellow girls were studied. White girls, the American girls, and the yellow girls, actually the people with Chinese origin. And see, at the time of high school means starting of her adolescent period, and she was too curious, especially the dresses, the Kashmiri sweaters, their white girls' curly hair, and she is longing for what actually, and she is thinking that these girls are too lucky. So that is another area. There, the standard of beauty gets changed. At the beginning, she wants to be fair. That was her ultimate desire. And here we can see that she got attracted to the dress, especially the imported cotton dresses, the Kashmiri sweaters, everything. She wants all those things. Apart from being white, she wants to acquire other things also. She too wants to fit in that culture. So that is about stanza 6. Moving on to the next stanza, stanza 7. When I was growing up, I hungered for American food. American style, scarlet, white, and even to me, a child born of Chinese parents, being Chinese was feeling foreign, was limiting, was un American. So strange things actually she is saying. When I was growing up, actually, at the beginning, her craving was only for the fair skin. Later it changed. അതതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഭയങ്കര പീക്ക് പോയിന്റിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. She hungered for American food, the American style scouted. And a child born of Chinese parents and being Chinese was feeling foreign. It was limiting. It was un-American. So, ഒരു ചൈനീസ് ചൈൽഡ് ആണെന്ന് ആലോചിക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ she felt it as a foreign and many limitations for this Chinese child, the Chinese culture. And she is saying that the same thinking is un-American. And the girl talks about her Chinese American descent and she hates everything which is Chinese. She craved for American culture. Craving means strong desire. And her own Chinese culture seems for her as foreign. Chinese related എന്ത് കണ്ടാലും she felt it as a foreign. The strange things actually. So, moving on to the next stanza. When I was growing up and a white man wanted to take me out, I thought I was special, an exotic gardenia, anxious to fit the stereotype of an oriental chick. Again, when she was growing up, when a white man wanted to take me out. So when a white man took her for a day out, she felt proud and thought that she is an exotic gardenia. Gardenia is a sort of flower, a special flower. ഒരു വൈറ്റ് മാൻ ഡേറ്റിങ്ങിനായിട്ട് അവളെ വിളിച്ചു കഴിയുമ്പം she thought that, she feels that she is very special. And she was anxious and tried to fit into the expected features of an oriental girl. Actually, the term oriental is used here as an offensive term that is used for the Asian American culture. And she tried to fit into the stereotypes, the traditional concepts of an oriental girl, of an Asian American girl. So she considered herself as a special person.